Hello and welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. This week we were at Brennan Theaters watching Peppermint. Now, watching the trailer for this, it seemed like it was going to be a generic revenge film, and it was exactly what it appeared to be. The good in this movie, without question, was Jennifer Garner. I feel she did an extremely good job with what she was given. Her acting was well done. She seemed to be doing some of her own stunts in this movie, as well as the emotional toll it was taking on the character itself. She did a good job of portraying that, because this is a pretty horrible situation for someone to be in, and I think with what she was given, she did a good job.
So the trailers for this film, they made it seem like it was going to be something that was a little more heavy, something that was a super intricate watch, and that had a very serious tone to it, and they definitely didn't do that with this movie. When you actually sit down to watch the movie, they can't make up their mind. It's just constantly bouncing back and forth between a movie that wants to take itself seriously and a movie that wants to be almost slapstick in a way. It just equates to really poor pacing. It's just not fun to watch. There's constantly things that pull you away and break your immersion and just make you want to not like this movie, and that's disappointing. The main and only positive that really stands out for me, and that's going to be Jennifer Garner. She put in a really solid performance. It's not anything that's going to win an Oscar. It's not the best performance of her career or anything like that, but it does seem like she actually gave a crap what happened in this movie. As far as the acting performances are concerned, that's where it ends. She's the one person that seemed like she actually cared about this movie, and everybody else gave in wooden performances, terrible line readings, and for the most part, it looks like everybody just read things directly off the page and did nothing to make it seem like it was real or actually happening. That's not something you're looking for in this kind of movie, especially a movie that in some places tries to take itself seriously.
It's a revenge film, but it doesn't really focus as much on the revenge as you would think it does. Like, you would expect there to be long, drawn-out situations where she's getting revenge on one person, but it's really more of a body count movie. Now, with that, there are some pretty cool stunts that happen. Inside the action, there was some pretty cool gunplay. There was some pretty cool, like, flipping over cabinets and stuff like that. I was impressed with some of that. Sadly, that's where the positives end. This movie was super slow. At the beginning of the movie, you find yourself going, I get the point. Then you get to the middle of the movie, and they glaze over a bunch of stuff that they shouldn't have glazed over. You get to see some of the revenge stuff happen, and you're like, I really wanted to see more of that outcome. Like, you built all this up, and then you gave us nothing, and then you're skipping ahead to something that no one really cares about, because you didn't establish that character.
Some of the action sequences are they're not great. For the most part, like I said, if you've seen any of the newer action movies in the action renaissance that started with things like The Raid, Snowpiercer, even John Wick, I would consider to be in that family of things. Those movies are definitely a better watch wholesale. Not just for what they're able to do with their movies, but the specific action sequences. They have that grit, they have that punch. You get a little sprinkling of that throughout some of these scenes, but for the most part, things feel fake. Things feel like they're not something that would possibly happen in real life, which is disappointing to watch.
The main problem in this movie lies in the script. I don't feel it was done well. I feel that they focused on the wrong thing, they glazed over what was important, and then they took way too long to get to either of them. With that being said, the twists in the movie, where it's trying to keep you guessing on what's going on, were absolutely horrible. I can say I didn't see it coming, but I didn't see it coming because they lied to me throughout the movie, so the twist didn't actually work. If you're going to set something up to keep them guessing through the movie, keep the viewer trying to figure out who's who, what's what, what's going on is up, and down, all that kind of stuff, you need to be consistent. If you want them to get to the end of the movie and learn something and then go back and watch the movie again, watching the movie again can't break what you've learned. And thinking back to the beginning of the movie and some of the things that happened, none of it works. The twist doesn't work. And that is the most frustrating thing for me to see.
I've talked about this with previous movies, and I'll talk about it until I'm blue in the face every time it happens. When you put bad science in your movie, especially bad medical science, it's not going to work for me. You're going to pull me out immediately. There are things that happen that people wouldn't survive from in this film. I won't dig into specifics or anything like that, but there are things that happen that would kill you. just about every time. And the fact that people are able to survive these ridiculous things, it makes you seem like you're a horror movie monster and not an actual real person.
So you've got solid acting by Jennifer Garner. You've got some pretty cool stunts and gunplay. Some of it's pretty generic. But then on the bad side, you've got a really badly written, badly paced script. Not enough of the revenge you're interested in, and too much of the revenge you don't care about. Not to mention the fact that the twist doesn't work at all. So normally we wouldn't say, hey, there's a twist, but at the beginning you get the feeling that they're hinting at something, and I'll leave it for you to try to figure out what it is. Very frustrated. I have to say that the movie feels like it's something straight out of the 90s. It's funny because we got out of the movie and I was talking with JB about it, and I said it felt like something out of the 90s, and he's like, that's exactly what I thought. Because the transitions, the strange way they're shaking the camera, and it feels like something out of Blade or Seven or Triple X or, movies that are actually better than this one. It feels like it's something out of that era where you've got that light dragging and stuff like that. First 5 minutes of the movie, you're going to know what I'm talking about.
I think one of the biggest things that I wasn't expecting to catch me off guard and take me out of this film so badly was the music. The music had this really weird, almost like nu metal-ish 90s kind of groove to it, and it doesn't match the tone of the film at all. It doesn't make any sense where it's placed in a world with cell phones and people who actually care what their music sounds like. It just doesn't work out.
This movie was rough. And it's sad because Jennifer Garner looked like she really gave it her all, and I would have liked to have seen her come back to an action role. I think she really could have pulled it off given a better script, and I think that she would have really nailed it. With that being said, she did nail what they gave her, it just wasn't that much that they gave her. So this movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. There is very little to make me smile in this movie. There's very little to keep me interested. And by the end of the movie, I was checking my watch, and I never do that. That is a horrible sign. If you've completely broken my immersion, you did something really, really wrong.
This movie, at best, is generic fare. If you're interested in seeing a ridiculously generic movie with ridiculously generic action sequences and an alright performance from Jennifer Garner, by all means, go see this movie. I would suggest, if you can, do your best to not spend a dime on this. It just was not a good movie. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 4 out of 10. Her performance was pretty much the only thing that gave this any points at all. The rest of the movie just felt flat.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.